And the techniques that the Shack USA was advocating and spreading the word about were effective. And I think the government said, hey, wait a minute, we can't be having our corporations' profits threatened by a group of people who are doing something out of compassion and aren't looking to make a profit. So how do we hurt them? And how do we hurt them? We arrest them and we put them in jail, and that's what's happened.
We were arrested with helicopters over our head or over our house, a dozen agents with guns and pistols and battering rams and a whole herd of cars bringing us down, issuing press releases. Well, within 4 hours of all of this, we're out on the streets.
If they were truly terrorists, domestic terrorists, and they were the scariest thing that we have to offer here in the United States, why are they letting them out of jail? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know why they let us out. I think perhaps the government knows very well that their charges against us are so constitutionally fraught. And it's going to be such a challenge for them to meet their legal burden and demonstrate that we did the things we did and it's not constitutionally protected.
These people never harmed anybody. So how can you call them terrorists? That's what I don't understand. Yes, they're stupid. They're using bad tactics. But they're not, they're not Osama fucking bin Laden. Excuse me, they're not.
The term terrorist carries a lot of weight, and it's a pretty horrible thing to be labeled a terrorist for talking about sending black faxes and, doing home demonstrations.
Did I get your permission to photograph me?
I don't have to have your permission.
Yes, you do.
I'm a public citizen. Get your hands off of me. You want to go to jail for assault?
The police are coming to get you out of here right now. I'm not assaulting you.
You touched me. That's assault.
I'm trying to get your camera out of my face.
You're the one who stepped into my camera.
There's nobody here that has anything to do with this, and I want you to leave.
Thank you.
You want to fucking hit me?
No, you touched
fucking hit me?
Yeah, I know. I just really hate to see this old guy arrested, but he was an asshole, that's true. They get a big kick out of it when we get arrested.
Back to your question, though, about whether the tactics that Stop Huntington Animal Cruelty uses, if they're comparable to what the FBI uses, I would say absolutely not. There's never been a target of the Shack campaign who's woken up with a pistol in their face.
The New York Stock Exchange, Josh and I didn't really have too much to do with it because we're under indictment and we can't really be involved in any political protest activity for fear of violating our pretrial conditions of release. And so for the last 2 years, the government's had essentially like a gag on Josh and I and our co-defendants.
After all, it looked like just another day here yesterday, but 45 minutes before this, something entirely out of the ordinary had happened away from the camera. Representatives of Huntington Life Sciences, who'd been welcomed heartily for their planned flotation, suddenly told it was postponed while the exchange considered certain, quotes, concerns. The business of animal testing increasingly difficult. HLS was already forced off the London Stock Exchange in 2001, but Huntington's plans to raise capital in America now looking uncertain.
It's the first time in the history of the New York Stock Exchange that a company was ever forced to delist or forced to not list based on political activism.
They have to face us. They have to answer to us, everyday common people on the street.
It was impossible for us to get a bank account in this country or insurance coverage in this country. And unfortunately, we lost a lot of shareholders as well.
There's a reason why Congress is having hearings about animal rights activists, and it's not because we're the #1 domestic terrorist threat in America. It's because we've shaken the foundation of some big companies, and now we have to deal with that.
The day that I knew that our tactics were effective was the day that the New York Police Department used our tactics to take their message to Mayor Bloomberg by doing a home demonstration at his house late one night, which they tell us all the time is illegal, but it's not.
I don't think you can do that.
Yes, we can. One struggle, one fight.
Tough shit.
Listen to me a minute. Put your camera down. Move over
You hit
there.
my camera. You
Move over
assaulted
there.
me.
Get over there.
Why are you assaulting me?
That is the demonstration area, not here.
Look at Cindy Sheehan. She's doing a home demonstration against the president. The tactics clearly work.
I think that that's really the wonderful thing about Stop Huntington Animal Cruelty, and I think that is why the government fears us. Because imagine what would happen in this country if other movements, if the environmental movement, if the feminist movement, the gay rights movement, if they began to act with this same power and tenacity. I think that we would see massive change in this country.
Don't touch my son, you're assaulting me! You're assaulting me!
If they want to label me a terrorist for stopping what I feel is harm to my fellow people, to the environment, to animals, and you want to label me a terrorist, then I embrace the word and I'm proud to be a terrorist.
People talk dismissively about, oh, animal rights terrorism. Oh, that's not terrorism. They're not knocking down buildings and killing 3,000 people. Well, let me tell you something. Terrorism is the use of force or the threat of force to try to change people's behavior, to try to exert your power over them politically or in the way they live their lives. They want people to change their behavior out of fear. That's terrorism, plain and simple.
Our job's been easier over the last few years because the public relations garbage that these people put out, you know, calling us high seas pirates and eco-terrorists, actually works in our favor. Scares the hell out of the people that we're opposing, and when they see us, they run. And so when we just recently encountered the Japanese whaling fleet in Antarctica, it was really every time we caught them, they would run, and we were able to prevent them from killing whales for over 15 days, and we chased them for 4,000 miles because they were afraid of us.
Oriental Bluebird, or should I say the SS Whale Meat, please remove yourself from these waters. You're in violation of international conservation regulations. We're acting in accordance with the United Nations World Charter for Nature and implementing these regulations. You're in a whale sanctuary and you're assisting in illegal activity. Remove yourself from these waters immediately.
If I ever want to go meet a terrorist, I'll get a job at Huntington Life Sciences.
The Shack kids, and a lot of them are just kids. They're just idealistic idiots. But they're marketing their story with this romantic notion that they're being prosecuted for speaking their mind. Nonsense. You know, in the same way that you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, that's not free speech.
Well, we're having a big art auction for the Shack 7. We hope to raise a ton of money.
And there's tons of people involved in this benefit who don't even care about animal rights issues. It's just, I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that it really is a free speech issue.
We didn't play the animal rights thing as much as we should have, but it's got a bad meaning to a lot of people, so we played the free speech, which is more important than anything, actually.
Slippery slope. If they go down, then the next set of people go down, and then
we're here to protect our First Amendment rights.
I'd say the biggest reason I'm here, I mean, before more than just animal rights, it's the First Amendment issues that are at stake.
I'm just here for the ladies, man. The vegan ladies, for sure. Dad and I might look at some art, but I don't really plan on buying any. But I would, because they would be good for that. You know, give good people money. And then I might get ladies.
Oh, God.
I'm not into doing direct action anymore. I was when I was young, and I couldn't really get in trouble for it. I'm not going to do that anymore, so I figured I would go more conventional ways and legal ways to raise money and make people aware.
A lot of people have done quite a bit to support us.
Last weekend, we were part of a benefit for the Shack 7 that raised around $600, which isn't a big figure, but considering, you know, it's just a small hardcore show with punk kids and, you know, just a small community venue, $600 is a lot to raise, and we were really happy to be a part of that.
It's just so touching that people care enough to give up their money and their time and to expend so much energy on us.
I don't know if any of you here tonight have heart problems or are easily